usual entertainment is gone. But the hardest part is just keeping busy. Really lethargic, even depressed. Nothing but just horrible motivation killing depression. I don't have anything to really distract me from feeling that. Craving a lot of food and craving water. This is definitely one of the most difficult things I've done.
5 years ago, I went 5 days without any food or water. I was motivated to destroy my addiction to food and give my body a total reset. And it worked. Plus, I lost a lot of weight in a short amount of time and was able to keep most of it off by eating mindfully. However, something bothered me about the way I did that dry fast. All I did was play video games and watch movies to pass the time as quickly as possible. I mean, sure, I had moments of introspection, I meditated for hours, and came out of that dry fast a different person. So what if I combined dry fasting with a dopamine detox? I've seen a couple of dopamine detox videos and it may sound bad, but I always think to myself, this would be way too easy. I can imagine myself killing hours on the guitar, catching up on my reading, or talking to friends and family to pass the time. To make this challenge more interesting, I know I will have to account for these following unfair advantages. 1. I go to the gym 4 times a week and can track calories on my MyFitnessPal with scientific precision. I also have several prolonged 6-day water fasts and a 5-day dry fast under my belt. 2. I don't browse social media, I don't waste time doom scrolling. In fact, if someone links me to a TikTok video, my thumb automatically presses the mark as read button. 3. I don't watch the news because I choose to not stress out over things I have little control over. And I couldn't care less about what celebrities are up to. What are my unfair disadvantages then? 1. I'm a recovering caffeine addict. I go through seasons of having maybe 1 cup of coffee a day to having 1 can of Monster and several cups of coffee on top of that. 2. Gaming's always been my favorite hobby. I'm also quick to go on YouTube if I need to learn something or if I need a break from work. 3. I'm introverted and could theoretically go months without contacting anybody. My social battery charges very slowly and drains very quickly. I can imagine more extroverted people finding it easy to just spend time chatting with their friends and family over Skype or Discord, whereas I would not be inclined to do that. What are the rules for the next 3 days then? I almost wanted to call it a technology fast, but it would not allow me to work on this video. And this video ideally would come out before visiting my home back in New York City, so 1. Absolutely no food. 2. No water, but I can shower and brush my teeth, making this a soft dry fast instead of a hard dry fast. 3. No video games. 4. No media unless it's something that helps me work, like a guide on how to organize your YouTube script. So no browsing Reddit, no reading articles on video game releases, basically no use of media with the intent of passing the time more quickly. Which means, unfortunately, I can't listen to podcasts either. Obviously, both porn and sex are not allowed. 5. I cannot listen to music, but I can practice the guitar. 6. I am allowed to use technology to work. For example, I can use my computer for video editing, writing, and online sessions with clients using webcam. 7. I cannot ingest any supplements, so no melatonin, unfortunately. What difficulties do I predict? Remembering my previous 5-day dry fast, I know boredom will be the biggest issue, and I will have to be smart with how I tackle this so I don't end it early. I know hunger won't be too bad until the 3rd day. Thirst was not an issue whatsoever, which often surprises people to hear. I know my energy will go down by the 3rd day as well. This means that going out for walks will not be as enjoyable. I will have to be careful with how I stand up and down due to lower blood pressure. So a little bit about dry fasting. Dry fasting creates what's called hormetic stress in our bodies. Hormetic stress is the idea that a little bit of stress is good for us. When we experience mild to moderate stress, such as when we exercise or are exposed to small amounts of toxins, our bodies train our cells and systems to become stronger and healthier. This stress leads to positive changes in our body, such as better repair mechanisms and an improved immune system.
I started off pretty rough actually. I felt pretty tired. At around 1, I started to get really sleepy. I took a nap for about 2 hours. I'm not feeling any hunger, any thirst, just kind of feeling down actually. Because I have no water, no food. My usual entertainment is gone. But the hardest part is just keeping busy. Because you can only work so much before the quality of your work goes down. Finding myself doing some things I would never really do, like playing board games, playing guitar. Once I start to feel more lethargic, so I won't be able to really stand up as much and go outside for walks. Sleep might be more difficult as well, especially since I can't use melatonin. Just woke up not long ago. Last night was pretty okay sleep. A couple of times I felt some pressure on the side of my head. A little bit of thumping on my eardrum, which I get sometimes. The heartbeat was fast sometimes. Very vivid dreams. I was self-aware in the dream that I was doing the dry fast as well. This morning I'm probably going to be working a lot on the editing side of the video, and I'll definitely be going out for a walk.
Autophagy is important for our body survival. It protects our brain and muscles, and cleans our cells. It also helps our body work better and build new cells. By dry fasting, we deliberately activate autophagy, helping our body face challenges in the future.
At the moment, I do feel pretty hungry. I'm not thirsty still. I don't think I'll get thirsty until the 3rd or 4th day. Motivation's back up. I was feeling quite unmotivated to do any work whatsoever in the morning. Feel really lethargic, even depressed. Maybe every 2 months I'll have a low day. If you do feel depressed, don't resist it. Go as deep as you want. Really feel it. Feel that depression as hard as it hits. Just let it take you wherever your thoughts are going. So for example, if you feel, oh, everyone's thinking negatively about me, and go with it. Just imagine, what are people saying, and process it. How realistic is that? You feel like you're sinking, and you just allow yourself to go all the way to the bottom, and you feel that rock bottom depression. Stay there, and you don't move, you don't resist it, you don't try to get out of that pit. It's one of the reactions I've been having from the dry fast. Just a lot of introspection, hours of thinking and meditating, allowing myself to feel whatever I'm feeling. 2 hours last night that I felt nothing but just horrible motivation killing depression. It was very uncomfortable. I felt better after about an hour and a half. I would feel waves of sadness, waves of staying at that 6 out of 10 happiness. And by the end of it, I felt a lot better because I didn't fight it. And that's usually what I do. It's just that this time it was so much more intense. I don't have anything to really distract me from feeling that. Because most people that dry fast will just watch Netflix. It's still uncomfortable because you're not eating or drinking anything. But it's so much easier than what I'm doing right now. I can only really work, or I can spend time with friends and family. Media does an amazing job of taking up the time that we would otherwise spend with other people. Even as an introvert, I'm feeling compelled to reach out to people that I normally wouldn't.
People believe it's impossible to go without water for more than 3 days. This is what puts people off the idea of trying prolonged dry fasting. What they don't realize is that our body creates its own water called endogenous water. But how does our body create its own water? It uses fat. Anytime our body converts stored fatty acids into ATP in our cells, it creates water as a byproduct. Drinking water stops the hypothalamus from allowing our body to make its own endogenous water. There are several misunderstandings around dopamine fasting or a digital detox. First of all, abstaining from technology will not reset your dopamine receptors in the long term. What it will do, however, is that it will force you to face the discomfort you've been avoiding. Instead, you might find yourself doing things you know the best version of yourself would like to do. The way I see it, dopamine fasting decreases low-effort, high-reward behaviors and increases high-effort activities that promote delayed gratification.
Last night was not too bad actually. Trained a client online at around 10 p.m. I feel like I got a second wind. Sleep has just been pretty amazing. Did have a little bit of a nightmare last night where I was losing my teeth. I usually get that if I'm stressed. This morning I woke up feeling okay as long as I don't move too much. I had some hunger in the morning, craving a lot of food. I'm craving water. More so than the entertainment. I'm not really missing video games or media in general. And that the food that I'm craving is really healthy. I would love to just eat roast chicken and vegetables, boneless burger with mushrooms and lettuce tomato, just something really wholesome. I started this at 180 pounds and now I'm down to 173.8 pounds. I feel good in my clothes. My mood's pretty good. I was feeling very unmotivated in the beginning. And now I feel just like a weight's been lifted off. And I think that's because having media keeps you distracted from actually processing whatever emotions you're dealing with. This is definitely one of the most difficult things I've done. It doesn't help that I'm not at a high weight, because the more fat you have on you, the less hungry you're going to be. I would say hunger hits me 2 or 3 times a day. Luckily, it hasn't kept me awake. My heart hasn't been going crazy. Last time, anytime I tried to sleep, my heartbeat would go up. I don't feel a pressure on the side of my head anymore. So overall, I can't really complain. I feel pretty good. Anytime I try to stand up, I feel that weakness. I can't really walk outside as much anymore. Yeah, now energy is extremely low, but I'm gonna see how much work I can get done today.
As per Dr. Shenikov, the process of coming out of starvation is more important than going into it. Refeeds should avoid sugar and carbohydrates. However, these instructions are written within the context of doing an 11-day dry fast. This dry fast is only 3 days, so I broke the fast with coconut water, 2 scoops of protein powder mixed with coconut milk, and some peaches. I could immediately tell that my stomach shrank from the fast. I could barely finish the can of peaches. If you do a longer dry fast, like 5 days or more, then I would advise the following. Drink a quart of coconut water solely to replenish potassium. Take magnesium, 100 to 200 milligrams, and potassium, 100 milligrams. Supplement after the fast and every day of the recovery period to replenish these electrolytes. What I learned, the multiplicative effect. There's a multiplicative effect that happens when combining the dry fasting and dopamine detoxing. By removing junk food entertainment, you will reach a heightened state of mind much more quickly than if you were to do each type of fast separately. What's the heightened state of mind I'm talking about? It's feeling free of whatever anxiety was lurking in the background. It's processing the raw emotions you've been quieting down by distracting yourself by using media, drinking with friends, or drugs. They both hurt and heal each other. The dry fast and dopamine detox both work against each other and work well with each other. The reason I say they work against one another is that the dry fast leaves you feeling progressively weaker and weaker as the days go by. Moreover, in the beginning you may feel some of the worst brain fog you have ever felt as you transition from using glucose to ketones. This means that you will not be able to do meaningful work for too long. It was only on the evening of the second day that I felt mentally clear again. Lessons taught through weakness. Because I felt so weak, I would often lie in bed meditating for hours, and this forced me to process all of those thoughts I had been burying by distracting myself. I felt terribly depressed the first and second day. Rather than fight it, I chose to sink as deep as I could into the depression. I didn't resist the thoughts. It's hard for me to describe, but the best way I can put it is that I acknowledged the sad thoughts and experienced the sadness as hard as I could. It was painful, but I did this for about 2 hours straight before bed and woke up feeling so much better the next day. By the afternoon of the second day, I noticed that I achieved the mental clarity that previously took me 5 days of dry fasting. This is what I mean by dry fasting and dopamine detox multiplying each other's effects. What helped me get through it? It's interesting how your brain will look for ways to distract itself out of desperation. I ended up really appreciating showers, smelling candles, shampoos, even smelling coffee. I often asked my wife for a massage when she was in a good mood, so I appreciate how I became sensitive to touch and smell. I also spent a lot of time with my cat while meditating, which wasn't hard because I would always notice he had been sitting on my chest for the past 30 minutes without me knowing. What would be a practical way of doing a 3-day dopamine fast? I was thinking how someone working a 9-to-5 job could implement this without having to take time off work. Here's what I would do. I would start the fast Thursday evening, as the low energy should not affect you too harshly on Friday. Be sure to eat mostly low carb before the fast, as it will make the transition to using ketones a lot smoother. Brain fog should not interfere with your work either, but may start to kick in toward the end of the shift on Friday. Having done this, you should be able to finish the fast by Sunday evening. Then go ahead and refeed like I did, and have a hearty breakfast on Monday morning. I hope this motivated you to try giving yourself a complete reset. It's extremely difficult, I'm not gonna lie, but I appreciate both the mental clarity and physical health benefits I feel. Here's a video on what I learned during my 100-pound weight loss journey. Take care.